CMC joint. It's going to go right over.
Which motion is this? CMC.
Thumb CMC flexion. So one thing that I'm going to do is the thumb's in kind of like a weird plane, right? So I'm going to take the thumb, make sure that this is level with the radius. So this is your 0, okay? And in order to do that, I might have to ulnar deviate her and position her correctly. I may have to extend the wrist, but I want this like to be level this way and kind of like almost like an extension of the radius, how it's going. Okay, so you do have to properly position this range of motion. So I'm going to start there. This is for flexion. Okay. So I position her, my axis, we're going to use this goniometer. My axis goes over the CMC joint. Now, my stationary arm, it's hard to explain, it's going to kind of follow like the line of movement. It's oblique. It's oblique to the forearm. This is not how they do it in the book, but I do it better, so listen to me. Okay? They do it this weird like Palmer, like where they use the radius and then this way. It's not good. Everybody like screws it up. It's just don't do it. So don't listen to the book on this one. Just do it like this. So it's going to be oblique to the forearm, okay? But your movable arm is going to follow the first metacarpal. So you're going to ask your patient to touch the bottom of your pinky, okay? I don't think it has that much. Come again, back to 0. Okay, go ahead. There. Yeah. See, like, come back up. That's your 0. Good. Flex. There. Good. So Carrie has about 0 to 20. Okay. Degrees. And normal 0 to 15. So your mesh, it's a small movement. It's literally the metacarpal going from here to here. Okay? It doesn't have a lot. Does that make sense? CMC extension. So extensions like this is radial abduction. So abduction, extension. Or, yeah. Palmar abduction, radial abduction. Radial abduction is the same as extension. This is palmar abduction. Radial abduction, palmar abduction. Extension, abduction. Okay? So for CMC extension, they don't truly, like, really start at 0. You're going to position the palm, like, flat. So I already have an angle. So if I want to test for 0, I see that she can fully adduct. And I'm like, oh, okay, she has 0. Then I position her on the table. And she's going to probably be at, like, 15 or something. And then have her bring her thumb out. So you test for 0. Align it. Can she get to 0? Because you're extending this way. So you line her back to that 0 that was the flexion, right? Where I had to position her wrist, like ulnarly deviate, okay? And bring it in line. Does she get to that 0? Good. Then I put her palm down because I'm going to be measuring extension this way. So my axis is going to be the CMC joint again. And I can use for my stationary arm, I can use either the radius and measure the angle this way, or I can use the second metacarpal and measure the angle this way. Make sense? I like to use the second metacarpal, so I'm going to use that for demonstration. So I checked her before. She gets her 0 degrees. Okay? I'll position her back. My axis at the CMC. My stationary arm with the second metacarpal. My movable arm with the first metacarpal. Can you bring your thumb out this way? Okay. So she has about 50 degrees, and that's completely normal of 0 to 50. So, palmar abduction, same thing. I want to make sure that she can get to 0, because then she's going to be like this. So you just kind of see, can she get neutral? Good. And you start here. Your axis is going to be your CMC, stationary arm at the second metacarpal, movable arm at the first metacarpal. She's going to go this way. Okay. So axis, and down here. First metacarpal. Axis is at the CMC joint, second metacarpal, first metacarpal, which I could tell you were tight right away because you're extending extra at your MCP, trying to compensate. So Carrie needs to stretch because she has 0 to 40 degrees of abduction. Okay, normal 0 to 60. So MCP flexion at the thumb, that's this joint here. This one here. So your axis just goes over the joint, the MCP joint. Your
Wait, yeah, you missed it.
what did I miss? Not on my sheet. I have palmar abduction and then MCP.
We have MP flexion, IP flexion, thumb.
Oh,
abduction.
yeah, it's metacarpal phalangeal.
Oh, I
but
thought it was you were doing
MP
digit
flexion.
MCP flexion as well.
No, thumb
Okay.
MP flexion is next.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. So your joint is your axis, your metacarpal phalangeal. Your stationary arm is the first metacarpal. Then your movable arm follows the proximal phalanx. Okay. Can you bend your thumb to touch your pinky? So what is that? 0 to 65. And normal is 0 to 50. You do have a lot though. I don't have any. Well, I have like a
Oh my
little.
gosh.
Yeah,
Poor thing.
looks nice. So you could get all different ranges. Carrie has a lot. I don't really have that much at all. Okay. So thumb IP flexion. Your IP joint is going to be your axis. Stationary arm, proximal phalanx, movable arm, distal phalanx. She's going to flex. Just be careful of like your thumbnail points up. So you want to make sure that even though that points up, that you're positioning either your movable arm like at the side. Okay, so that you're measuring the angle kind of like this. Okay? Or on it, because that's going to be inaccurate. So you want to move it just like a little bit. Does that make sense? Okay.
I missed my calling.
Okay. So you have what? 0 to 90 exactly? Maybe 87. And normal 0 to 90. The proximal phalanx. Okay. Thumb opposition. You don't have like an axis stationary arm, movable arm. You see if they can touch their pinky to their thumb. That's considered full range of motion. Okay. But I want you to tell me. So if you couldn't do that, see your goniometers have measuring. All of them do. Right? They do centimeters. So you could measure the space and you just pick what landmark. You just have to describe. If you're going to do the middle of the tips of the thumbs, you say tip to tip, and you put there, and you say, what is that? 1.5 centimeters, like away from opposition. Okay. Some people use like the middle of the bottom of the thumbnail, like as their measurement, whatever your landmark is, you have to just document. Or you can document opposition to the fourth, opposition to the third, opposition to the second. if they can't reach the fifth, which is normal range of motion. Okay. MCP flexion, this action, right? So your axis, come to 0, is over your MCP joint, stationary arm, metacarpal of whatever finger you're doing, movable arm on the proximal phalanx. She's going to flex. I can't tell if I'm over here. You have like a lot. You have more than 90 too. You're like 105. Yeah, that's not a 90-degree angle. Carrie has 105 at that metacarpal. Yeah, you do. Yours is more. So mine's closer to like 90. This way. Okay. Yeah, yours like slants a lot. It's okay. MCP abduction is this action. So